Hey everybody, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Bavarian Redline. Today, we finally made it back from our trip, as you saw in the last couple of videos. Hopefully you caught those. If you didn't, please subscribe so you can get the notifications and see those videos coming in. But we have a 3-part series of the road trip on our way back, which actually went relatively smoothly. Don't hope to do that again anytime soon. But now the car's back, it's time to start doing some work on it. So when we bought the car, it actually came with a few parts. So we're gonna go over a couple of the parts that came with the car that we're gonna be installing. Most important of which today, we're gonna be putting coilovers on the car. So we're gonna be replacing the tired old suspension on the E46 M3. Sorry, I apologize, it's a rainy day here in Florida today, but we're gonna get the car pulled in. And if you can tell by looking at the car, the back already has the coilovers on it, so it's nice and low, looks pretty good. The stance is just about right, especially with the with these newer wheels off of the M4 that we talked about in the previous video. But that fender gap is pretty darn good. That tire's just a little bit tucked, looks really good. And I can't remember exactly, but I think it's like a 10.5-inch wheel or something like that, so there's a little roll to it. It looks pretty darn good. But the coilovers are already installed on the back. The previous owner did that. So today we're going to be working on installing the coilovers on the front. And if you look at the front, that is just way too much fender gap. This thing looks like a monster truck. So we're going to go through and knock that out. But first, we got to get these guys out of the garage. And if you notice, unfortunately, this is going to be the first video where the G80 is missing from the garage. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of a catastrophe with the G80. It had a major failure. I hope to have a, well, not so much a major failure, but something that prevents it from driving. So I will update you guys on that in a new video. Currently it's at BMW getting repaired. So as soon as we get it brought back, we're gonna do some content on that as well. I hope to actually have this video be on the G80, but unfortunately the car's in the shop. So as soon as the car gets fixed, we'll get that taken care of. But for now, let's get these out of the garage so we can get the M3 backed in and get to work on it. All right, let's get this bad boy fired up and turned around so we can start to work on it. Got the seat up right now because our puppy decided to run away this morning at 7 a.m. and I had to use this to chase her down the block. So not exactly a cold start, but pretty darn close to it. And we got Aaliyah right behind us back there, so we'll try our best not to roll backwards here since we don't have any type of an e-brake. Pull up in here. We're just gonna pull it in so we don't get rained on throughout the video here. I want to show you guys something that we picked up for the video. Let's get these bad boys opened up so we can get the car in the air and safely work on it while we're doing the coilovers. Little complimentary jack stand unboxing for you guys. Da-da. Quality feels pretty good. Cheapest ones I could find at Lowe's because the guy on Facebook Marketplace wouldn't get back to us. These are supposed to be ratcheting jack stands, so let's see how those work. This one looks exactly the same as the other one, which is probably a good thing. All right, let's take a look at everything that we got as far as parts that came with the car. So didn't buy any of this stuff. So in here, we got a set of brake pads. Oddly enough, not for this car. It says somewhere on here they are for a 2007 335xi, so they should work great on the Project E90 if we decide to put brake pads on it. So we got those. We got the coilovers, which yes, they're Looks like they got Eibach springs on them, and they are Bilstein lowering coilovers. Now, I'm not sure exactly how much they lower the car. From the research I did, it looks like maybe 1.5 inches, something like that, but that should be good to kind of close up that gap like we talked about. So even though these are pre-owned, I was told they came off of another E46 M3, and they can't be any worse than the 176,000 mile ones that are on it. And it's a cheap project car, so not gonna go spending a bunch of money on some other coilovers if I've got these and they look to be in decent shape. So we're gonna go ahead and get those installed. The car has black kidney grills in it right now, so we've got some chrome kidney grills that came with it. We've got some cool stuff, actually. We've got some carbon fiber mirror caps that I'll try to get open here so you can see. Those look to be real carbon fiber, so not print. So excited to put those on. Probably won't do it until we do the carbon fiber hood, because then we'll have the carbon fiber hood. And then I believe we have some, I don't know whether they're splitters or kind of like the split valence for the front that's carbon fiber. So we'll kind of put those on at the same time. So we've got those. There's the carbon fiber kind of front lips that go on either side of the bumper. Try to put a picture up right now of what those look like when they're installed. Here's another mirror cap and something else. I'm not sure exactly what that is right now. Again, all this stuff came with the car, so I didn't have to pay for it. Got the original owner's manual with it. There's also a thing here that, don't mean to show the person's address, but something there. Oh, new belts, new serpentine belts that came with it. So we've got that. We have not one, but two of the lower grille covers that came with the car. That's the old one. That's why I kind of set it down like that. But here is a new one for lower grille cover for the bumper. This old one actually looks like it's in decent shape. Maybe a couple of the clips are busted, but we'll go ahead and put the new one on probably in another video here. We have a new, now this part's kind of unfortunate because this would have been really nice to have. Or actually, that's some type of a, oh, that's a pulley, like a water pump pulley or something, it looks like. So we got a new one of those. This is what I was trying to show you. So we have, if you guys saw, the shift knob is in horrible shape. I'm trying to get the box open here. We have a new shift knob, which, as nice as this is, and it looks to be pretty OEM, I don't think we're going to use that. And the reason why is because I want to do the doors locked. But if you can see, if you remember from the previous video, the shift knob is pretty messed up. But I want to go ahead and swap that out for the F10 conversion with like an Alcantara boot, which is what a lot of people do. Got this little air duct, which it already has under the hood, so I guess that's just a second one. We have a new water pump and water pump gasket that came with the car. We've got, let's see what else we've got in here. Oh, the next good thing is, excuse the mess from the road trip, we have some original M3 floor mats that are brand new. Actually, the only reason they're dirty is because we put dirty stuff on top of them. So got quite a few accessories with the car, but again, we're going to focus on putting those coilovers on today. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is break this 17mm wheel bolts loose on both sides before I get the car jacked up. We'll get it in the air, and then we will remove the strut tower brace and then loosen these and see if we can just get it to drop out without a spring puller. Let the breaker bar be your friend. If you're wondering why the car is rolling so much, that's because there is no parking brake. since I'm on YouTube now, what do I do? One of these, and it's done. All right, so now that we got the car jacked up in the air, we're gonna go ahead and remove this sway bar end link right here. I recommend that you get behind this bolt with a set of vice grips like this, because otherwise it might just spin. So get behind that, and then if you've got some WD-40 or something to loosen it up, I recommend you spray the bottom of this strut where it meets the lower assembly. So that way you can kind of loosen that up, because that seems to be the hardest part of the job. Once we get the sway bar end link off and we spray this a little bit, then we will go on top and remove the strut tower brace and the bolts for the coilover. All right, so we were able to get this top nut off of the sway bar end link. So now we have to go attack this lower bolt back here, which appears to be a 19 millimeter. So that's what I'm gonna go after now. I wanna use the weight of the wheel assembly down here to actually pull the strut down, since I don't have a spring compressor. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these bolts off, take the strut tower brace off first, and then take these bolts off the top of the original strut and just see if it'll drop out. It seems like that's what it's gonna do. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do now. All right, so after I removed these 3 bolts up here and removed the strut tower brace, which is super light, by the way, the whole assembly kind of just dropped out for me, which is awesome. So it appears to be loose, and once I get it, all the stuff removed down here, I should just be able to take it off. Voila! Just that easy. Good thing is we can edit. That came right off. No issue. No issues at all. Couldn't have been easier. All right, so got the new strut, or the used new Bilstein strut in, got the sway bar end link put on, went pretty smooth, got it bolted up top, still got to tighten it down a little bit. The only thing that really happened was this brake pad wear sensor came out, so I got to figure out where that goes, and then we'll go ahead and knock out the other side, or I think we'll have Aaliyah knock out the other side.
Yep.
We're gonna have Aaliyah do this side so I can give you a little bit better video walkthrough. So she's gonna go ahead first and take off the sway bar end link. Like I said, on the other side, it is better to put some vice grips on there when you're doing it. So now that's off. We just got to grab that nut. Then the sway bar end link is loose, and it can kind of just hang down there until we're ready to put it back on. And then now this bottom bolt down here is a 19 mil. This is really a pretty easy process, but that bottom bolt is a 19 millimeter, so you can take that out, and that's gonna free the lower suspension arm from the strut itself. She's gonna take that all the way out. She's got that bolt out. And now we're gonna put the jack underneath it so that we can take some of the weight off so it doesn't just drop. And then we'll remove these final couple bolts up here. Let's kind of just get it centered. We'll tighten it up. Here, right there should be good. That's good right there. Go ahead and jack it a little bit. That's good. It's plenty good. Yep, that's good. Now we'll go ahead and pop the 13 millimeter on, and then pull these top bolts out. I already took one out. Careful not to drop that nut, babe. If you did drop it, it'd probably fall right underneath the car. And then the piece to the strut tower brace. Actually, this one, to be honest with you, doesn't need to come off because this brake cable is kind of in the way. You could take the other side off. It doesn't need to come off to do the repair. So we'll go ahead and now loosen the jack, and the whole assembly should kind of come down just like that. Now the only thing keeping tension on it is your brake line, so you want to kind of be careful here. I'd rather not re-bleed the brakes, so we're not going to disconnect that, but we're just going to go ahead and work this strut out of here. I recommend you put a flathead screwdriver or something of that nature in the back and kind of pry it apart, and then just work left and right on the strut itself until it gets out of the assembly.
We are struggling with this janky tool we got here, and we're on our way to get a compression tool in the pouring rain.
So for some random reason, the wiper blade broke off of the Project E90 while we're trying to go run to the auto parts store so we can get the spring compression tool. So the wiper blade just broke. So we're driving to the store with no wipers. Right, babe?
Yeah. This is our day.
So do yourself a favor. If you're going to do this job, the other side came off, but this side was just a pain. It would have been so much easier to just go rent this tool to start with. This is just a McPherson strut spring compression tool. You can just rent this from your local parts store. But this is going to make short work of getting this one out of here. And the new one's shorter, so it'll go right in. So not too much worried about that. I'll kind of compare them once we get it out. But should be pretty easy to finish this up now. So with the spring compression tool, we were able to get it off, and there you can see kind of the height difference. I'm honestly leaning towards, it's probably closer to 2 inches of lowering in the front. You could tell me what you think in the comments down below, but we're gonna go ahead and get the new one thrown on and then get a look at it once it's finished.
Give me any beat.
Coilover on, and now Leah's putting the wheel on. That's good right there. Kind of push you back. It's gotta stay back like that, and then I'll rotate the brake. Get it lined up. Boom, there you go. Now you can put your top nut in there. Bolt. One bolt. Perfect. We're about to see how this thing sits. Think it's gonna look good, babe? Mm-hmm. On both sides. Now we just gotta put the strut tower brace back on here. So we have our rigidity. Here, if you pass me a couple of those nuts, I'll put this side on. Thread these suckers on here. Almost ready to see how this thing sits. Boom, 13 millimeter. Where's it at? Boom, there's the 13. The impact's over there sitting on the floor, I think. I also took a second, and I don't know how good the lighting is in here, so it's probably hard to see, but cleaned up the valve cover there. Cleaned up the air box a little bit, kind of cleaned up underneath the hood because it was super dusty. So here, I'll hit these. Actually, it needs to slide that way. Just a hair, it looks like. Actually, it's pretty much all the way in. We should be able to tighten all this stuff down and then drop it on the ground and see how it looks. So here is kind of the finished product. Now we haven't driven it so it settles down, but not super happy about the amount of camber on it. Look how tipped in the top of the wheels are, but hopefully we can get that straightened out with alignment. I tried to pull the struts all the way out, but still ended up like that. But it is quite a bit lower. We'll see how it looks after we drive, but we're gonna go take it on a little test drive right now and see if it rides all right. So the ride definitely seems to have stiffened up a little bit, but overall the car's driving pretty good. The alignment seems to actually be pretty good here. Let me get it pretty much straight. This road's a little slope, so might be pulling a tiny bit to the left, but that's probably more to do with the slope of the road. But actually driving pretty good. So overall I think it was a successful install, but we'll keep driving it and kind of see how it goes. But for now, I think that's everything for today's video. So thank you so much for watching, and please, if you want to see some more content like this, like and subscribe. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. That would be great. Say bye, Leah.
Bye.